All right, wonderful. Beautiful. Okay, so hello everyone. I am Mia Sines and this is Lori Montree.
Day two, we made it.
Day two, we absolutely did make it. So we're really excited. We love these challenges. They're so important to everyone to open up and to know something new that you never knew before. And so that's part of the expansion process that we'd like you to also consider this week, is picking up on these new spaces that you didn't know before. So today is getting clear on what you want. And so in this space, recognize the areas that you didn't know too. Because as we give gratitude and open up for those, what happens? More information can settle into us.
Yeah.
So hopefully you've already had a chance to watch yesterday's video, and if and because we want you to identify the areas in which you'd like to up level. Lori?
Yeah, so we had that opportunity, right, to really look and dive into, all my different aspects of my health, all those different aspects of your relationships, rather than just saying, oh, how happy am I in my relationships, to really dig in and look at these different categories. So hopefully some things really stood out, like Mia said, that are, kind of calling your attention to, these are the areas for me that my heart is really open to, and I'm ready to start to look at. And before we do that, though, before we say, I don't like the way it's going, here's what I want instead, it's so important to talk about this concept of clarity. And I feel like this is something that's often overlooked. Like, I want to be successful. And so I want a special car, I want a certain kind of house, I want to, these things, because those are the things that society tells us. When you're successful, these are the markers of success. And, so many people reach them, and then they turn around and they'll come to us and they'll say, wait a minute, I lived my whole life. People taught me that when I was married to a beautiful person, when I had all these things, that I was going to be happy, that I was going to feel content, that I was going to have meaning and fulfillment in my life. What the hell's going on? I'm miserable. Right. And that's when they start to seek those that are, brilliant and just really understand that that's not who they are, right? So that they come very often, those are the kind of the people that we love to work with, among many people. But understanding that, wait a minute, all of these things are not actually making me happy. And so that's why Mia and I put so much time and effort into that process of getting really clear, knowing who you are, knowing what your values are, knowing what will truly bring that meaning and fulfillment. And maybe it is a certain God, maybe it is a certain, those kinds of things. But if it's coming from an authentic place of your true nature and really matching your values, then it is going to bring fulfillment and meaning. So we are not going to skip this step at all. We're going to dive in today to really understanding what it is that is going to bring you the feelings that you want, right? Because you don't want anything outside of you for the purpose of having that thing. You want it because of the way that you know it's going to make you feel, or hope that it's going to make you feel. So we'll get into that a little bit. But Mia, I'd love your thoughts on, how do you balance between, because this is a big one, especially for people as they're starting out. Like, we tell them, you have to focus on goals. How do you create if you don't know what you're, shooting for, if you don't know what you want? But at the same time, you also have to have that little bit of flexibility and trust that, hey, you put it out there and you help the universe, understand and back and forth, what is actually meant for me, right? But sometimes it looks a little bit different than what your mind could imagine, right?
This is really powerful.
Yeah.
When you were talking about the markers of success, my head started opening up to when we were young.
Yeah.
And we're told these stories of how life should be, right? We see the Disney shows, we read books, or we have books read to us, and we think that life should be another way. Instead of the shoulds, what if we have markers that show us how and what we want? So for me, a successful life isn't married to a successful man who's happy, who's handsome and wealthy, and we have a lot of objects. For me, being a successful woman is mastering my intellect, mastering my emotional intelligence, being happy within, content, knowing that the magic that I've created over the years, and I'll call myself magic, the spiritual awareness, the mysticism, the healing of cancer the first time, everything, right? All of this is the markers of success. We get trapped in the idea that we have to have some man come at a certain age and put a glass slipper on our foot, when literally we couldn't even walk in a glass slipper anyway. It's not even in our realm of capacity. So we need to change the areas in which, and why. Be aware why you're changing it. Has it worked so far? Has your glass slipper come? What if instead of you waiting for a man to put a glass slipper on you, you started looking at your interior and said, you know, I'd really like a relationship where somebody is whole, healthy, loving to me, generous, giving, and then you be that too, and see about bringing in your person. So when we do our goals, we have to know what feels right for us. We could be chasing butterflies and dragonflies all day long, but we're not going to get anywhere if we don't have the goals set up into a path to move forward. And the primary function is know what you want, because nobody's going to tell you exactly what your heart, your soul, your spirit is driving you to create in this experience.
Absolutely. That's why we have to have that connection with ourselves, right? And if we have that, we know that whatever's going on in our external circumstances, number one, we can handle it. Number two, if we don't like it, we can change it.
Right.
And that is such a powerful way, powerful and safe way to live life, right? The level of security when you know that you are in charge, when you know that, you don't need that particular external circumstance in order to be living a beautiful life. It's incredible.
And who
So
says a beautiful life? Who says what a beautiful life is but the individual?
only
right?
you, only you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we got to
My
figure
life,
out what that is
yeah,
before we
your
work
life
to
may not
create
be
it.
beautiful to someone else, but it is to you.
That's
My
right.
life I've created is beautiful to me because it feels good, it fits well, it serves, and we've had to
Right.
look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what we're trying to help you find, because what we don't want to do is have you spinning your wheels trying to create something that ultimately is not going to bring that sense of peace and contentment, fulfillment, meaning, purpose, all the things that you're truly hungry for. Right. So how do we do that? Right. How do we understand? And it's a process, and it's something that we definitely work on a lot in our programs and in our work with people, is helping them really connect deeply to that authentic, intuitive, beautiful, wise, greatest self. Right. And from that place, that's how we know what to create. And today is really, that's what our focus is. And so we're going to invite you through the integration work today to really connect with that soul part of you, that part of you that is so wise and intuitive, and really understand what it is longing for, right? And building the connection with that, as opposed to being so concerned about what are the, the 4 or 5 things that I have to create in my life in order to have peace and meaning. We're going to be focusing more on the ethereal than the concrete. We want to understand what is behind the things that come up for me. Like, let's say, someone says, I want to be a sculptor. Okay, what's under that? Is that I want to be somebody who works with my hands. I want to be someone who shares my view of the world through a different medium. If you say, hey, I want to own my business, what's behind that? Is it you want to be your own boss? You want to be able to pivot with your ideas? You want to create a legacy for your children, and really understand the why behind it? Because when you understand the why, you know that that's the good stuff, right? And that it could look a little bit different way. There's nothing wrong with saying, okay, I'm going to shoot for that business. Always remembering, but what I'm really after are these things underneath. And so, it's going to look how it's going to look. But if I'm focused on the things that I want underneath and the feelings that I'm shooting for, then what I create is going to bring me that meaning and fulfillment.
Such a
And,
serenity.
Yeah, and I came across this. This is from something that that we wrote. We have in one of our programs, or one of our offerings that we have for people. And if it's okay, I want to spend a minute reading it, because I think that it just really highlights the crux of what we're doing here today. And then we can talk about how you're going to do your integration work to really bring that clarity in for you. And it says, most of us have been trained to think that all of the dissatisfaction or lack within ourselves can be fixed with an external acquisition. We think things like, oh, if I could get that raise or promotion, then I would feel appreciated. Or if I could lose that 20 pounds, then I would be an accomplished or a successful person. But this thinking is flawed, because even when those things occur for us, the fulfillment is short-lived. I mean, think about that. Isn't that true? How many times have you wanted something, had it come, and then, a month later, the shininess wears off and you're like, this whole kind of thinking that I need this thing before I can feel content and fulfilled just sets us up for an ever-changing destination that's never fully obtainable, right? A ever-changing destination that's never really obtainable. We are not going to lead you down that path. We simply go from goal to goal, never finding what we're actually looking for. And that's why we go into such depth around this step of getting clear. Without clarity, it's easy to pursue goals we think will bring fulfillment, only to feel the sense of lack as acutely as before, over and over again. Anytime we look outside ourselves and expect an experience to give us fulfillment, such as approval, recognition, acceptance, or love, we're reaching for things from a mindset of lack rather than abundance. When we operate from a mindset of lack, nothing we ever do or create will be sufficient to fill that void. The promotion we obtain, the pounds we lose, may initially give us a sense of accomplishment, but it's fleeting. And as quickly as it raised us up, we'll fall back into the state of lack. The fulfillment simply won't be there. Happiness, contentment, purpose is found internally rather than your external circumstances. So Mia, this is a point, I get a lot of questions when we talk about this, but wait a minute, how then do I shoot to create something, or do I shoot to create, and so there's that little bit of confusion around how do these things come together and mesh, right?
I wrote down a few things, like as you took us down a path, I wrote down a few words. You had asked me when I first started talking about the balance between the roles, and really the balance between the role, and all of this goes together, everyone. The balance between the roles should be stillness or peace, something that you want to create so that you can accomplish all that you want to do, and have that stillness to be able to view and have that observation from a higher depth than you're currently working on within yourself. You talked about feeling. How does it feel? The feel is the most important thing, everyone, because you feel shitty, you feel happy, you feel sad, you feel melancholy, you feel like your joy that you've worked on is over with way too fast. Like Lori said, what happens when you get to that point? If you're chasing a reward rather than your growth, you're going to get nothing, because you're going to be chasing the tail of a cat that you're never going to be able to catch. When you put your boundaries forward in that stillness, looking at in between your goals and everything, and looking from that space of wholeness, not of lack, that's where everything starts to move more smoothly. What you're talking about people not being able to unsettle their minds, is a chaotic mind. Last night I was watching a new show that was amazing, and the words that came off of it were, "The noise is a man's thoughts, unfiltered, and without a filter, a man is just chaos walking." Unknown New World Settlers. It's from a show I was watching. The thought about mankind being in chaos constantly, instead of settling their minds and their peace, they're just constantly chaotically walking and talking and breathing. I noticed that as a child, that through the dysfunction in my family, there was so much chaos, and I didn't want it in my life as an adult. Was it able to stop and shift immediately? I had to do the work. I'm still doing the work today. I'll still be doing the work until I die, because if I don't do the work, what happens? The subconscious brings in the old information because it gets tired and it can't keep up with the new information if you're not working it and doing it.
Yeah, but it gets easy, right, man? Now it's
Oh my gosh,
it's just
it's so
habitual. It's
easy.
just your way of
I didn't
being.
mean like this is the worst hard, let's pull it along like a tree.
Yeah, right.
No, and so that's the point, is that it gets very easy because as we work through it, one little thing, we're like, oh, I see that. And then
Yeah.
you're able to move through it. And then it's like, oh, that worked. And I see that too. Here comes another accolade. Here comes another reward. So do look at your rewards and your accolades and your movement as progression and growth, and give gratitude and praise. That's the allowance of more to come through. That's where the brilliance is.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And everything you just said is brilliant. And I'm so glad that that we're here and we're sharing this. So let's move into integration work. We're really trying to keep this, you know, concise for you, because we know that you have a busy life. We want you to have time to do the integration work. So even though we teach on this, we really do have, you know, an entire module essentially on this particular topic in our program, because it's so important. But for the integration work to kind of open you up to this and to help you gain some clarity around what you really want to put focused attention to during the rest of our week together, is really to help you take those couple of areas. Okay, I want you to go through your assignment from yesterday. Look for those places where you scored your satisfaction at a, say, a 1 or a 2, or, you know, whatever that looks like for you. If you didn't have any 1s or 2s, that's okay too. Find a place where maybe you scored a 3, where a place where your heart really knew, you know, as you were going through that this is a place where I don't feel that level of joy and satisfaction in my life. Okay. And when you've identified that focus, we're going to go through an exercise that is in your workbook, which is going to be available. That is included every day in the replay that we send out to your email. Always look for spam if you don't see us, because we are diligent about getting you your material. And it's also going to be available on the Facebook page. Okay, so this is your workbook.
Can I clarify that?
Yeah, please.
So I'm sorry. So I asked Pablo to send it out in the 3 a.m. morning on Pacific Standard Time. And so that's when it's going out. It's also on our page, because if I have them, should I have them just put it out in every single one, Lori?
We might as well. We want to make this easy for you, but
Okay.
If you get yours, you know, download it, print it, however it's best for you to work with it. We just want to make sure that you have this in your hands, because this is the primary way that you are benefiting from this week together, is by doing your integration work. So let me explain what that looks like a little bit. It's all there. It's all written. You do not have to take notes, but we really want to start by just giving yourself that space. Mia was talking about so brilliantly about, you know, the chaotic mind. We have to find stillness. Every answer is inside of you. Every single answer to every single question is inside of you, but it comes in the moments of stillness, right? In the moments when you're deeply connected and listening, right? So the first thing in there, you'll see there's a short meditation for you to just really think about these things that you've identified you want in your life, and allow those feelings to come up, and really get crystal clear on what do I want to feel. Right? Kind of let the goal kind of sit beside you a little bit, and really put your time, attention, energy, focus on the feelings that you think that will be generated by this, because this is the gold, right? This is what we really want. And this is what will bring you that sense of content and fulfillment. So once you have that, right, you have brought your intention into being, your beautiful, glorious intention. And that is for you 100%. Yesterday, I posted in the group the quote from Rumi that I can't look at, I can't feel, it just resonates within me. What you seek is seeking you. It's incredible. So this is where we really get clear on, what are you seeking? What is your intention? We want to have that so strong, because when we have that, we have an incredible power to create it. And the second part of that is something that we call clarity bubbles. It's really just something to kind of get those creative juices flowing as a foundational step for the exercises that are going to come in the next day. So everything is building on each other. So it is important for you to spend some time with, you know, each day as we go, so that you have what you've discovered from the previous day to take forward into the next day. We've included a sample of Clarity Bubbles from a client that we worked with. And, you know, it was really beautiful for her. She was a really just an incredible woman, highly educated, lots of areas of art, very creative and sensitive. And she ended up working at a 9-to-5 job at a university library. And so her work, right, she was not expressing herself. She was essentially hiding among the books every day. And so we give you an example, Pam, we give you an example of her Clarity Bubbles there. And really, just to give you an example, yours do not have to look like hers, but you know, when these things are new, it's helpful to have some examples. And you're just going to use this exercise to get really clear on what is most aligned with you and what the feelings are that you are looking to create. So if you have any questions about the exercise, we're here. That's what we've devoted this week to you, to answering your questions, to getting to know you, to helping, guiding you and coaching you, encouraging you, inspiring you to design your greatest life so that we can build that together and start it. So dive into this work and ask the questions. Very, very important. When you're done, post your homework. Post your homework. This is so important. This is how we're going to interact with you. This is how you're going to inspire people. This is how we're going to build an energy. This is how we're going to let the universe know what you're ready for.
Is it possible, I have it pulled up, for me to just show everybody really quick so that they can get an idea? If you have not pulled open your integrative homework, yeah, can I just show them our packet?
Yeah.
So,
show them those bubbles and get ready. And
as you'll see, everyone, Lori and I love this work so much that we make it come to you as beautiful as we see it. So here's the package for the homework.
Yeah, your workbook.
So here's this woman on the front, thinking, contemplating, working. We've gone through, today was this homework day 1 right here.
Yeah, yesterday.
And I know that you guys have gone through it and you've tagged yourself how many 1 to 5 over here, how far advanced you feel you are. And now we are moving into day 2, gaining clarity.
There's the
It's
steps.
really a very gorgeously done book. This looks like all the other stuff that Lori and I produced, because here's the Clarity Bubbles.
Yeah, here's what Pam wanted. She wanted to feel accomplished. She wanted to feel free. She wanted to feel, you know, the things. And so she started with the feeling and then really kind of flush that out a little bit to help understand. Because that's how we figure out what is the goal that we want to pursue right now. It's from this kind of connection within ourselves.
Yeah. And your Clarity Bubbles can be similar and can also be totally different. So it's about you. It's about the space you're in. Beautiful. I'm going to put up my Clarity Bubbles today.
Yay. Yes. So thank you to the people who are being interactive in the group, in the Facebook group. That really brings this beautiful energy. And that's what we're trying to capture, that energy of creation and possibility. So take the time to do this exercise and to reach out and let us know how that's going for you and your questions. We're here for you.
Lovely. And we will see you all tomorrow. And remember to ask any questions that you like. We're here to support you and to help you, as Lori's been saying. And post, because we want to find those posts and we want to answer you. All right, have a beautiful day.
Yeah. Okay, Challenge community. We love you. Keep up the good work.
See you tomorrow.